I think the SCP universe wastes its potential. Its potential could be such a massive franchise if someone with money and actual ability to be creative would be willing to invest in it, because the SCP multiverse has 100 trillion different possibilities. Like, I was going to talk about a video about basically 30 different GOI groups. There are hundreds of GOI groups, over 8,000 stories. The potential for a franchise bigger than Marvel and DC combined is so big, because I know Marvel and DC have comics to put their stories in, but I feel like the SCP Foundation's articles and different stories and tales, there are just so many of them that they have an equal, if not larger, potential to source lore from than all of them combined. It's a wild multiverse where basically nothing's canon, but everything's true. But everything's a lie. And if you know the SCP universe, the mystery is the whole thing. You can make love stories, ancient ballets, or ancient opera, or ghost stories, or basically horror elements or heartwarm flicks. You can make cyberpunk, sci-fi, fantasy world, basically isekai. You can make stories of such strange impossibility that it can feel like gibberish into one of those artistic type of entertainment. You can make an SCP about anything, and the wiki is such a self-enforcing mechanism of mostly high-quality works that I see. There are just thousands of different high-quality works. Someone could make a tale about Avalon, the universe where everything goes perfect, and someone could make a movie about that. Someone can make a movie about SCP-682 and its true origins, or the Scarlet King. You can make a whole TV series on that. In the Scarlet King, depending on how you organize everything and what canon or universe or what canon or universe you source on, it can be potentially 3 season to 23 season type show. I mean, like that, because however you source something from one anomaly, they have 100 trillion more connections. But for the Scarlet King, that is, especially with that, his dark armies encompassing the multiverse. There could be different stories about GOCs. You can have GOCs undercover a highly corrupt plot of government sabotage in the anomalous world. Or you could have the SCP Foundation. The SCP Foundation alone is enough to make 1,000 different stories. 100 different unique stories, movies, TV shows of just Foundation personnel as the main character. You can not even have a main character. You can have a world to tell. And a lot of times they do have a main character. However you want it. The Foundation usually has something that it can give. It's a restaurant that has 100 trillion different foods that are already ready and freshly baked. So once you ask for a single unique dish, bing, you get what you want. I can just envision a movie or a TV show of a character finding out the truth behind Bigfoot. SCP-3000. How humanity destroyed the species that was before them. The species that was greater than them. By using the power form was effectively a devil to them. And how the SCP Foundation keeps everything a secret, so in hopes of a desperate worry that the SCP-3000 species, Bigfoot, are slowly waking up. They're slowly regaining their minds, and they will slowly exact revenge upon the species who tear them down. Then you can have an entire 8-season show of Mechanite Sarkite War and just the different parts that happens. Each season, each major group, the Mechanite Sarkites and the SCP Foundation first, the GOC, the Mechanites and Zarkites themselves, and a bunch of other different groups. You could have a Watchman. This is a little possible break to just say not Watchmen, Wandsmen. One of these burn things that you can basically have them observe a different universe of events, and you can basically be a watcher or viewer. As you can see, an entire universe tear itself down. There's 100 trillion world-ending scenarios. You can have a world-ending threat happen. You can have a multiversal-ending threat. They have 100 trillion of these, and they don't even have to be resuscitated. The multiverse is so infinite that there will always be another infinite multiverse, thanks to the nature of infinity, that will reappear again. You can have a story about the Lancaster Express and their war against the Neon God, the endless cities versus the train system that was made to escape the Neon God's wrath, and the slow figuring out by the SCP Foundation of what's happening. Then you can have things about a nature goddess, an entire TV show about how about the SCP Foundation is trying to hold the dangerous effects of what they have done to nature. More like humanity and trying to withhold the dangerous effects of nature. You can have complex stories of 100 trillion scenarios. Just give me a second. Like, for example, another example. I keep going to say examples constantly because this is what any future screenmaker, writer, or billionaire invest into this movie idea, this TV show idea. You can have there's a canon where Mechites, Zarkites, and and some other, these free civilizations exist in an ancient world. Actually, that's so many historical dramas in the SCP universe that basically there are over 100, and you could have the entire over 100 different stories in one canon alone. Boom. And there's multiple different canons. The only nightmare is going to be the Lord, the theorist, trying to connect all the dots in one canon alone, neither less any of the others. And I feel like people wouldn't even be tired, because as long as you have basic creativity, you can basically make 100 trillion stories more of these. And I want to see a century future that 100 years of SCP stories comes on the big screen or TV shows like that. So it can be made like that for an audience of millions of people. Because if you do it because I think if an industry could pop up with a century of constantly making SCP TV shows, they'd be larger than any kind of... I was starting to ramble about the greatness of the SCP Foundation. The potential for an SCP multiverse existence is insane. There are only a few problems. After you get past the 100 TV show, the 100 movie, that people might start getting tired. But that's only if you lack basic creativity, because you can have 100 trillion more, and there would still be unique perspectives, unique existences, unique TV shows, unique ideas, unique movies about different GUI groups, SCP Foundation personnel, Kane Pathos Crows. No more about the doctor that I can't explain on this video. But you can do something about Dr. Gears and his accidental causation of a fighter that now hates the Foundation, hates her father, and joined the Serpent's Hand. Or you could have a financial story about Marshall Carter Dark's infinitely dark dealings across the multiverse. Or Anderson Robotics before they collapsed. What was their state before they collapsed? Or Prometheus Prophetic Lab before they collapsed. I mean, Anderson Robotics didn't collapse, Prometheus Labs did collapse. And you gotta get it. There's so many GOI groups, there are going to be 30 of them now, I was going to tell. And there's basically hundreds of more, but those were basically any of the real notable ones. That basically need more than one story. You could have the Free Moons Initiative and their existence. You could have the answer of what is afterlife in the SCP universe. Or you can have the existence of the you could have the existence of God. And is SCP-3483 God, or is he just a reality warper that is so powerful that he cannot be explained? That he can't tell the difference. That he is God. Basically the same in the SCP universe. Or SCP-001. There's 30 different SCP-001s already. And those are basically potentially up to whole franchises to at least feature length movies alone. The Factory can have potential franchise where it explains the story of the Factory and the Factory's anomalous creations that cause danger and havoc across the world. You could talk about the SCP, and that's only I think on the SCP US wiki. I think there are different wikis with completely different anomalies across the world, and you see that's only in the US. In the US, there's Irish, Welsh kind of folkloric based SCP tales or something. Blah blah blah. You gotta get it. Irish, Welsh, blah blah blah. Kind of themes in SCP tales. You could have an entire science fiction story where the SCP Foundation faces an anomalous civilization, a future version of itself, its past version of itself, or an anomalous parasite, or an anomalous disease, or an anomalous alien species, or does some anomalous war crime against the universe. And that's only in the science fiction territory. And that's not even all the stuff you could potentially do in the science fiction territory. There are a lot of horrors, but you can even make an entire SCP franchise series alone with love stories, or ancient operas, or happy fun go stories, or basically different countless other kinds of genres. I'm losing speech with how much potential it could. So, in the future, writers, producers, or billionaires, make one of these. Get the creators that would love to work with you and actually have creativity and maintain it. Because that's the only thing you have to do after the money and a bit of work. You can make. Oh yeah, and there's even one SCP story where you can make it into a movie of an SCP Foundation personnel, grumpy that now they're injured, they have to go into this ridiculous case of weird ear mouth thing. Kind of similar to Bigfoot, but not Bigfoot because it's more bigger than actual Bigfoot. But like real world Bigfoot, but it's real. Okay, it's kind of complex because in the SCP universe, Bigfoot is much more important than even this anomaly is. But I think I should kind of edit it so you can kind of like know what I mean. And at the end, you can have a funny scene of you get cut off of what the mystery actually was, and the only thing you're gonna know is aliens, and then you'll cut off. You can have a TV show of one anomalous puppet show of a ghost seemingly abusing another ghost in a torturous hell-like existence alone. And that's only one SCP story out of 1,000 others. Each SCP story higher on the list usually gets longer and more complex, and that's alone without the unique SCP tales purely that are not even numbered. That's just an SCP description. There's a whole story of a man who lost his daughter and had a whole bunch of stuff, but now is a kind of adventuring, immortal wizard type thing that comes and helps people's fears by driving with him in his truck. That delivers them into an alternate dimension where, as long as your fear is not the fear of death, because it's a highly dangerous path, like it's the fear of falling or sleeping or like snakes or spiders, if you can overcome it, you basically get to come out of the dimension, and then you surpass the fear, and blah 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 blah. You gotta get it. But all the future screen directors, writers, players, and billionaires. Even you too, millionaires. I'm sorry, I forgot you. Bye.